team walking in with almost 3 7-footers on the front line?
It's a big blessing, obviously, because Domas does so many different things for our team. But yeah, obviously there's a comfort. Like you can play him all over the floor, incredible skill set, and obviously helps out on the backboard after being out rebounded by 14. So yeah, it's good.
No Neek, no Keegan tonight. Do you have an idea of who you started?
Yeah, I flew in Chris Webber. He'll be coming out shortly. Yeah, he looks great. He looks really good. Yeah. You know, some of this stuff is, we have to feel the game out. Obviously, as Ham mentioned, they're huge. So we'll work it out.
And the second one is, you talked about last year preseason.
Always.
That starts tonight. Just what's the message you have?
I mean, no different than kind of what you said. You were in the huddle, obviously. It's all about home. I mean, that's one of the things as you build a team. Most teams, as they build young teams, whatever, as you go down the path, you usually start to get good at home. The road is a different animal. You have to figure your way out on the road. Some of the things that you can get away with at home, you can't get away with on the road. You might shoot some questionable shots on the road that will punish you. But on top of that, we value our fans in a way that I don't know what other organizations do, but we love our fans. So we want to come in and make sure that they're proud.
Doug, I was watching the broadcast.
Yep.
So that answers the first question: do you agree with that? Yes. And then if so, how and what does that mean?
Defense, rebound, and share is the overarching principles for us. Then we have defensive and offensive principles as well. But there's a beautiful brand of basketball that I was blessed to play. That you love your teammates, you play for your teammate, you share the ball, you defend with team defense. Those are some of the principles and things that if you put on our jersey, that's what you're going to be about, or you'll be in the wrong locker room.
Doug, what were 2 or 3 correctable things that you told to the guys after
the game? 2 or 3. Okay. Obviously, defense. People have to feel us. Too many turnovers, and then rebounding. There was also possessions where the ball didn't move how I would like it to move. Those are the things that you. And I told them, and you guys have. I'm good, man. We usually find people for that. You good. That we've talked about is the ability to share the basketball and play in a way that the ball moves from side to side. Too many possessions where the ball got stuck on one side of the floor. And I said this prior, and I say it now. It's not from a selfish thing. It's from you got to trust your teammates. You got to trust that thing gonna come back around the horn, and you're gonna get to touch the leather again. And then as far as boxing out, coming up with loose balls, it's a must.
Doug, going back to Domas, he's developed a reputation over the last handful of years of playing through injuries, fighting his way back from injuries, trying to be as available as possible. How is that an example of his leadership, and what do you think that means, not just your coaching staff, but that locker room?
Well, the greatest ability is availability. And Domas has consistently made himself available. I think it speaks to his teammates that he's willing to sacrifice of himself to be on the floor, to play through pain and different things that he suffered through. And I have the utmost respect for that, and I think his teammates do as well.
Kind of good opening night vibes. I mean, just you remember it as a player, now your experience as a coach. We talked a little bit about the other day. Just what do you notice about it now that maybe you didn't notice as a player?
As a player, I think it takes on a different vibe. As a coach, I'm locked up in the room a little bit. As a player, you coming in, and Arco was a little different in approach because as you approach, like you saw everybody, tailgating and a lot of different things. Golden One is just such a beautiful arena that a lot of times I think people are like just out looking at the arena. So I'm not out there when they run out, but I can remember running out. It was like an explosion. I don't know if that's still the same thing. I just know that, as I explained to them, is a powder keg in there, and it's ready to blow up. But you got to give it a reason to blow up. So yeah.
Go ahead.
Any update on Isaac? We saw him warming up just now. Do you know if he'll be available tonight?
Y'all asked all these questions, man. Y'all asked all these questions. We'll see.
But Doug, without asking you to comment on what's going on with the league and the gambling scandal this week, you might have been, on the wrong side in the 2002 Western Conference Finals with, what happened with the officiating scandal. And I'm just curious what the integrity of the game sort of means to you, given your perspective with that context.
You trying to get me in trouble, man? Like, no, but that question is loaded as hell. I think the game is, ever since I was a kid, the game is everything. And I hope that that's what it means to all of our players. And I tell them to play with a childish joy and never lose it, because the game, in so many ways, it requires that, but it also, there's a level of love that it deserves that too. So for me, it's everything. I've been through a lot of different stuff, but we still here. So, yeah.
Coach, Dennis Schroeder seemed like he's going in that direction. Been one or two, especially the last preseason game, the Lakers in the last 14 points, 7 assists. He, filling out this system and running the system.
Dennis is everything that I thought he would be and want. He's a floor general. He's going to run the show. There's an edginess to Dennis that I want every single player on our team to play with. That I appreciate, that I think sometimes can get lost, and I'm really I'm super excited that he is wearing our jersey, and I know our fans will be as well.
Doug, any minutes restriction tonight for Domas?
Come on, Jason. Oh man,
Is that a no?
listen, man. When you put it on, you put it on. All right.
Or
I mean, that's just my mindset.
Yep.
Okay.
And along those lines with him, I know you talk about we play how we play, and you want to be who you are, no
Yes,
matter
sir.
who's on the floor. But just realistically, having him out there, how much does that unlock all of the things that you guys do?
Part of what we try to do is have the ability to move the 5 men around the floor, because Domas has an incredible ability. So, you can see him in the corner. You can see him with the ball. You can see him in the high quad. You can see him in the opposite high quad. You can see him in the middle of the floor. You can see him at the elbow. You can see him in the post. That's, for us, that's a good thing, because it depends on who you're playing, on where you're moving him at. So, and previously, nothing against anybody, but you have to sometimes put multiple players together to play in a certain way, because a guy is so talented. So for us, it's huge. I think there's a comfort with him as far as bringing the ball, putting pressure on the 5, bringing the 5 out of the lane because of where he's at on the floor. There's a lot of different aspects to his game that, be like a comfy blanket. You know what I'm saying?
Doug, something I've just kind of noticed during preseason and first game in Phoenix is that guys like Domas and DeMar, who have really notoriously been kind of quiet leaders, have been incredibly vocal in timeouts, talking to guys, discussing what's going on the floor. Is that something that you've talked to them about? Because it's noticeably different.
Yes, but there's growth in people as well. But there's the ability to be a good teammate, and really the best way to be a teammate is to love your teammate. So in practice, that means to go at them. In the huddles and on the floor, that means to communicate with them on a high level. And sometimes you got to say the hard things. It's like that doesn't always mean that it's bad. You guys might get a sound bite and you're like, whoa. But I might be like, yeah, because sometimes it needs to be said, and it doesn't always need to be from me. Internal leadership is the greatest form of leadership. Appreciate y'all.
Okay.